Energy Regulator, that's eNCA, announced that power tariff hikes for the next 3 years. For more on this, we're joined by Chief Economist of the Minerals Council South Africa, that's Henk Langenhoven, to explain the impact of this. Henk, good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks for your time this morning. So, this situation and the warning that 90,000 jobs could be lost because of these hikes, is the electricity situation really that big a threat, or are we possibly going to see some companies use this as an excuse to downsize?
It is really serious. The mining sector has been under a lot of pressure cost-wise, as well as that's always the trade-off. Costs domestically played off against the international commodity prices in dollar terms, and then of course converted into rand. And the cost pressures have been building now for quite a while, with commodity prices fairly unstable, but also not really performing last year. And it's difficult to if you look at specific ones like gold or platinum or palladium or whatever, some of them have been doing well, some haven't. What we've done is we constructed a weighted average rand commodity index, which gives you an idea of what the overall situation is and what the landed impact of a commodity price in dollar would be. And over a number of years now, the price improvements or no improvements in commodity prices have been much lower than cost increases. So the net result is that your profit margins deteriorate, and that has been going on for a while, and it's an historical thing. We have old mines, specifically gold and platinum mines. They are deep, they're difficult to get to, that's costly. You use electricity all the time. You have to cool the areas down. The rock faces are 40, 50 degrees. Yeah. So and where electricity is of a major importance is we use so much of electricity in our smelters and refiners, as well as then in gold mining and whatever. And for mining, for example, in gold specifically, to do the mining is about 22% of costs if you keep labor separate. And if you then add the smelters, it goes up to something like 25%. And that is actually massive. If you
so is that where we're likely to see, are we likely to see more job cuts in certain types of mining?
Yes.
Or in general? So would that be gold?
And gold and platinum primarily, but in the others as well. And what we've done is we literally looked at the published, what we call cost curves by the companies, and then say, Company A has this cost to produce an ounce of gold. The gold price is this for an ounce of gold. And that gives you then that comparison immediately. And a number of them, 60% and about 70% of the production of gold is anyway marginal for us, or loss-making, which means that you have about a 6% cushion between cost and income. And this pushes the story about the last straw. This pushes a lot of these marginal mines into loss-making.
Now, you know, Henk, if we were saying that we expect many of these mining companies to shut down, if we expect mines to shut down, you might say, okay, I can see the impact. But then, if you're going to lose workers but continue to try and run your operations, how would they even do that? What would that mean?
No, it's not possible. If you work with the production per worker, or mining, and specifically gold and platinum mining, are actually quite labor intensive. Yeah. It's actually a proxy for not producing. We produced, we think, about 130 tons of gold last year. We think only about 20 tons will be left in 3 years' time. And
would there be a danger then that we could see a total shutdown at some point, or shutdown of some of these?
Yes, that would be the big fear, that so many jobs are under threat now. So there's no margin for error, and this is part of an error that could be critical. The other side of it is the uncertainty about supply, which really disrupts processes. I've just visited a smelter, a chrome smelter near Rustenburg the other day, and they cannot run that smelter at lower than full capacity, full supply of electricity. If you talk about a gold mine, there are schedules to blast, to carry the ore, to hoist it, sometimes 3-4 kilometers from underground, to get it to the smelters, to keep the smelters going. So when something like this happens and you have to take your workers out, you disrupt that whole process, that whole planning process. And what we're hearing anecdotally from the most senior CEOs is that at the current situation, they're losing about 20% of their production, which is which can be fatal because it raises unit cost of production, and that's then where you're at the ceiling.
So we're expecting an update about what's happening with Eskom and the electricity supply today. What are you expecting to hear? I'm
expecting a really honest communication. The mining sector, we are not only moaning. We've had very good interaction with the Minister of Public Enterprises and Minister Mantashe, and offered expertise, because we run these big installations. I mean, it's billions of rands we understand processes, big processes, to go around the power stations and help and advise and be a sounding board for the people working there. Just to have a colleague from outside that there's no any qualms about what you're doing. And that team has been around now for 2 weeks. A lot of information came out of that. Of course, the session today, as I understand it, is the normal Eskom update on their systems and the electricity availability. I think the Minister is really trying very hard to understand the real situation and to communicate that. So I heard Bruce Whitfield saying that we would probably have better communication, but probably bad news still.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the best.
No.
But maybe not as bad as we expect. Well, let's hope and let's keep an eye on the situation here. Thanks very much for that insight into what this means for the mining industry. That's Chief Economist of the Minerals Council South Africa, Henk Langenhoven.